Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the First News newspaper. The major story here says, we are compiling lists of Nigerians who incited electoral violence. UK government speaking. Says observation team witnessed vote buying, voter intimidation, destruction of electoral materials, harassment of journalists during Guba polls. You find all the details on the front page of the First News newspaper. We move now to the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. Guba elections, uneasy calm in Adamawa. Labour Party's Oti wins Abia. Mba emerges in Enugu. 2019 scenario playing out. I'm sure of victory. Venturi speaking. We are ready for rerun. APC also reacting there. You find all the details on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. To the Guardian newspaper now, Atiku to Tribunal. Declare me winner or order rerun. Atiku to Tribunal. Declare me winner or order rerun. You find all the details of the story on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. The PDP presidential candidate is challenging the outcome of the February the 25th presidential election, and he is asking the election tribunal to declare him winner or order a rerun. You find the details on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. To the Nigerian News Direct, 2023 general elections, cyber attacks on INEC technology hit 16.8 million. Records 3.8 cyber attacks during Guba House of Assembly polls as INEC concludes review of Guba results. All the details on the front page of Nigerian News Direct. To the Daily Trust now, CBN releases mopped up old notes to banks today as NLC threatens mass action despite 1 trillion naira in circulation. Cash crunch persists. Rush for Ramadan shopping amidst naira scarcity. Price hike.
Amazing. Quite similar to the headline that you just took. This Nigeria, cash scarcity, label to shut down CBN offices next week. And the writer reads, beginning begging mobilization in states tomorrow. I guess that's begins rather. Mobilization in states tomorrow. Punch, NLC protests, CBN to flood banks with old naira notes. Punch, NLC protests, CBN to flood banks with old naira notes. A Daily Sun has it as the screaming headline here, cash scarcity, NLC set to cripple CBN offices. NLC set to cripple CBN offices over cash scarcity. That's the Daily Sun. The Nation newspaper, workers draw battle line over lingering naira scarcity. Workers draw battle line over lingering naira scarcity. And the last but not the least here is the Business Day. Food insecurity risk high on naira crunch. It's seen it differently from a different angle, saying food insecurity risk high on naira crunch. It says naira scarcity, scarcity of fuel, scarcity of naira, scarcity of everything.
Everything scarcity.
Why is it that there is abundance of everything, but there is none of it to consume?
Right, and that's what we will be looking at now. The NLC, that's Nigeria Labour Congress, through its president, is not happy with the situation on the ground, especially with regards to the scarcity of the naira. They had given an ultimatum to the government, a 7-day ultimatum with regards to the scarcity of fuel, scarcity of naira. But the response is getting from the government, the body language is getting from the government, has not been something they are happy with. They say the government is foot dragging, and so they will be picketing all CBN branches across the states. And they have asked CBN staffers not to come to work because a majority of Nigerians cannot access their cash and so do not have food on their table. And so they too should sit at home and perhaps feel the pinch of how a majority of Nigerians are feeling at this point?
It's so sad. You know, it all started from saying that we want to redesign the Naira. We need, it's long overdue. We should do it. Nigerians were praising, you know, the move. And by the time they started, they said, okay, this is the deadline. It was extended. Said, okay, we've just got 60 days to get these over with. The president said it's a good initiative. And then they said it will also curb vote buying. And people were praising this policy. Say, oh, it's very nice. It's the best thing. Buhari was the best, you know, after the invention of, or since the invention of the sliced bread or something, you know. So when they now realized that this wasn't just going to go their way, the same people that were applauding the CBN policy, very fantastic policy, but then the way it was implemented, badly implemented. In fact, the best of the economists of this world, I've been saying, even the World Bank, I've been saying, come on, this is, the IMF rather, this is not the way to go about the implementation of these policies. You want to take after the developed economies of the world, they give room, enough time for people to metamorphose into, you know, spending this new Naira. And you have to ensure that it's available. Elections have ended. So why is it that we are not even seeing this Naira? So, you know, we should not look away from the gains that have actually been recorded, because they said it's going to curb banditry, you know, kidnapping, etc. Kidnapping most especially. I guess it's reduced to some extent. But then we saw one of these bandits, you know, brandishing these Naira notes to all that. Those of you living in the metropolis, living in the urban areas, we have cash, we have more money than you all think. So much so that people that were also you know, kidnapped, they requested that they pay in you know, pay in the new Naira notes. So the POS operatives too, they ensure that they swindle Nigerians.
Making a kill.
Honestly, it was that a kill? They killed Nigerians, not just making a kill out of the money. They killed most Nigerians, because imagine me, you know, seeking to withdraw 5,000 Naira, and they are charging me 1,500. Some as high as 2,000. That is why when the government's policy seems to be biting hard, you know, hitting us hard, we Nigerians also ensure that we make life difficult for ourselves.
Unfortunately.
You know, quite unfortunate. So
the aspect of the vote buying, you know, we have always talked about that, but we saw vote buying, right? It may not be to the level that we used to know, but then the EFCC made arrests of some persons, even in Kwara State and some other states, who were carrying out vote buying. Some were even doing transfers. So, of course, Nigerians will always find a way to beat the system. And then the aspect of curbing inflation. Our inflation is hitting the roof as it stands.
Absolutely.
The economy is, as some have put it, grinding to a halt because a lot of persons cannot transact. So what are we doing? We are looking at the papers this morning saying, despite 1 trillion Naira in circulation, cash crunch persists. What is happening? People go to the banks. They can't even access the old notes. What has happened? Nobody is speaking to Nigerians.
It was even worse off when the banks dispensed old notes and they wouldn't take it back.
That was before the Supreme Court ruled that, as it stands, the 1,000 Naira and the 500 Naira has become illegal tender till December the 31st. So afterwards, people went to the bank and still can't find the old notes.
Even if they dilly-dallied before the CBN, you know, issued a statement. That was after the president kind of threw them under the bus, like, it wasn't me, I don't know anything about it. You know, the president also apologized, you know, during the electioneering period, canvassing vote for Obasani of Kaduna State.
Kaduna, yes,
saying that
but that was not to
punish
the generality of Nigerians. He was speaking in a particular state.
Yeah, but we take it that whenever the president speaks, maybe he's talking to Nigerians.
He was in Kaduna, you know, canvassing for votes for a particular candidate in a particular state. Now, when he made the national broadcast, that is when he's speaking to the generality of Nigerians.
Absolutely.
And he made a statement. But afterwards, Nigerians were asking for him to speak to, you know, the ruling by the Supreme Court. And we haven't gotten a statement until that one that came from the presidency. from the presidency.
Yeah.
Not the president, right? Yes, they were perhaps speaking the mind of the president. Perhaps. We use the word perhaps. But Nigerians wanted, because there was a report our correspondent Joke did in Jigawa State,
Correct.
where some residents are asking that they need the president to speak, because in some states, some persons are still not accepting the old notes because they haven't heard from the president.
Even I saw in a report, was it yesterday or day before yesterday, that some states in the north are still, some people in the north are still not taking the money because, especially maybe those who are not, they don't have access to the media, the social media. But if you don't have access to that, you should have access to the local radio stations.
Of course, transistor radios, they know people there.
Yeah, some are willing to spend, some are willing to collect, but others that are willing to spend and collect are not doing it because they know that others will not take it from them. So when they go to the market, they're not able to spend this naira. Yet they are complaining of, cash crunch. So NLC planning to picket the Central Bank of Nigeria. Well, some said, way to go. Others are asking, what have you been doing all this while?
Right.
Why are you just
coming out now? Why are you waiting up until this time? This has been with us since last year. And Nigerians have been groaning with regards to this policy since, let me say, January, when it began to hit in that this is where the direction the government is going. Why are you just coming out now? But at least they are coming out saying, okay, next Wednesday. But they are also those saying, why don't you start this immediately? Why are you saying that you're waiting till next week, Wednesday, where this whole thing can be bungled and all of that? But we are also seeing that the CBN is saying that they will be releasing mopped-up old notes to banks today.
You don't even understand what to believe. At a point in time, we heard that the CBN governor said that these old naira notes that were taken back to
have been destroyed,
burnt. So
where
are
did
they
they
picking
find
the
these
ashes?
ones?
Is it a phoenix that will be rising from the ashes?
Where did they find these ones that they are now injecting to the commercial banks? Why did you have to wait up until this time? When you sent that circular, why didn't you send these monies immediately so that Nigerians can access their monies? It's not like they are begging you for anything. It is their monies in the bank.
I love the fact that you're introducing digital transaction, saying that without using cash. But then the economy of Nigeria is driven by cash. We want to buy something, I give it to you, we exchange, and then the money flows around liquidly. But then what do you say about making transactions? You do a transaction. I'm asking you, Veronica, have you seen the money? He said, what money? I've not seen it. So assuming I'm in the market square, I'm buying something, we're making transactions, and you're not able to confirm what I've sent to you. I'll be there for ages.
For a long period of time.
And it could even lead to
So now that we have the period of now and December the 31st, I want to believe that this is the time we will be working on all of those processes. We saw that some payment platforms, have been introduced into the system to be monitored by the CBN. So we hope that things will be easier, transactions will be better for Nigerians now moving forward, and then make cash available to Nigerians, especially those in the rural areas. And beyond even the rural areas, we have those in the markets, yes, the unbanked, who still need to, get access to this cash. And then trusting the system moving forward is another aspect. But we need to leave the conversation here now.